All right, I'm gonna get started. And I sometimes wish I had one of those catchy phrases that's like bam 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 bam, here's Pedro. But anyway, here I am just being myself. Do we owe this world anything? That is the question that I am pondering today. I have my answer, but I want to just kind of put it out here and just kind of have a discussion with no one and see if what I say serves anybody. So I woke up this morning to see yet another uh, Amber Alert type post about a missing young black woman in North Carolina. I think you pronounce her name Aistia Banks. And when I saw it, it just made me tighten up in my chest and feel extremely angry because I have two daughters. One of them went to prom recently, and just went out, stayed out late. She's a pretty good person, responsible. Didn't keep me from, as a dad, hoping for her safety. Um, and when I saw that post, I just thought about the women or the mother, I'm sorry, of the girl and the pain that she's probably going through right now. And I felt this rage that I can't really articulate very well. Um, when I feel rage, which I surprisingly feel quite often. A lot of people don't realize that about me because I talk so slow, but I actually do feel rage, and maybe it's the slowness that keeps me from going completely off the rails. But I felt it, and the disappointment, and all the things, because none of this is new, especially as a black person, man. I mean, if in my opinion, if you're black and you pay attention to anything about the history of America, for one, but just like throughout the planet for the past couple thousand plus years, I don't see how, if you're paying attention to history, you can't see that we have been devastated for a long time by all sorts of terrible things that have happened to our people, and other people, but you know, our people a lot, and the indigenous people of almost every place that these European folks landed. It's just been devastation after devastation. All the things that we've seen in the Epstein files, all the things that we're seeing about these crazy dudes that are willingly harming and recording their wives. Like, what the frick, man? Like, all of this crap is not new. It's I'm trying to speak in a way that's instructive and not just like anger, even though I am angry. It's like the level of pathetic of these men is astronomical. I'm like, how in the heck do they live with themselves to be so pathetic? To harm children, to harm women, to come after LGBTQ folks, and a lot of them are closeted anyway. It's like, what in the world? And the saddest part is it's not new. The saddest part is that it's always been this way. It's only that now it's harder to hide it and to be in denial about it. You got to put in effort to be in denial about it. And my anger about it extends not only to the men who do these things, and I know there's some women that do things too, because I am a person who, when I was a child, had a woman be a certain way towards me. So I know that it's not just men, but it's mostly men. And the woman who, or I should say women, who were that way towards me had men be that way towards them too first. So it's a terrible, I don't even talk about it much, but it's a terrible cycle of misogyny, racism, fear of LGBTQ folks, and all sorts of unresolved parental issues that have us so jacked up, mixed with very bad Christian theology. I mean, I'm sure that there are other theologies just as bad, but because I was raised a Christian, I can tell you that the Christian theology in America is disgusting at this point. especially the fundamentalist evangelicals. And I don't give a crap if any of my friends from my former world like that hear me say it. You guys need help. Like, seriously. Because at this point, if you can't see, I don't even know what to say to you. But it's really, 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 really despicable. Very despicable. Let me process my energy. As I said before, whoever controls your breath controls your life. So let me not let these fools control my breath. Let me control my breath. All this to say, what do we do now? Do we give in to despair? Do we give in to apathy? Do we just ball up in a little ball somewhere and act like we don't see things because we want to survive because we're cowards and we're afraid of death? Do we do those things? No, unfortunately, we don't. What we do is we get our composure, we get clarity, and we build better systems and better communities and better theologies and better everything because we have no freaking excuse. There's information here, there's technology here, there are ways of communicating with other people who have frustrations that match yours, but also have the intentions of creating a better world. We have no excuse to continue in this way. We just have to figure out how to collectivize and who is worth our energy. There are people like these folks who are doing these harm, and some of y'all know these people. We need to give them consequences and help them understand that this is no longer acceptable in the world that we're creating. And a lot of these guys are white men, just gonna say it. It's not racism, it's documentation. There's a lot of them. And I'm not blaming all white men, of course not. There's black men, there's Chinese men, there's all kinds of men who are doing horrible things. And yes, there are women who do things too. And systemically, we have to face the fact that somehow the disease of white supremacy has infected almost every freaking one of our brains across the planet, where we feel some kind of way about ourselves as compared to an illusory idea of fake white guys that don't exist, like fake white Jesus, and we compare ourselves to it, and we put ourselves on a lower scale, and then we try to build ourselves up to be acceptable to people who are despicable. And no, before someone says, oh, are you saying white people are despicable? I am not saying that. I'm saying that systemically, the people who put these structures in place they called themselves white. They invented whiteness and blackness and all these other things. They invented to separate people from one another and to perpetuate harm and to justify harm. And they've never stopped doing it. And I know that we don't have to continue this way. And so I'm trying my best with the limited language that we have to be able to name it, then say, hey, because I know that there have always been people who also identified as white who've been opposed to this sort of thing. But we need to figure out a way to highlight the folks who are opposed to this sort of thing, work with people of goodwill from all walks of life, and create better systems because we can't keep doing this. And then to the question of do we owe the world anything? That was just I'm not sure if we owe the world anything. In the teachings of Christ that I understand says, owe no one anything but to love them. And so from a place of love, I'm trying my best to articulate the frustration, but also possibilities. This stuff is out here now. We know the disease is being named. Now let's work on a cure. We can't keep going along with this. We can't keep excusing this. We can't keep saying boys will be boys. All of these things, it has to stop. I've mentioned in previous posts and things that I've written that a lot of these men are broken, broken, broken. They have bought into the same system that so many of us have bought into. They feel that they have to have these roles of provider, protector, or punching bag. They are watching the world change around them, and they do not know how to locate themselves in the future. They're still stuck in psychosis from the nuclear age and the awareness that we have bombs that can wipe out whole populations at once. And so many of us are stuck in psychosis that we cannot locate ourselves in the future. And so our only hope mentally is to go back to a romanticized past that they feel like they've already survived and maybe even felt like they dominated. And so they're trying to go backwards because they cannot see a future. And we can change that by working together to create futures for ourselves and then leave room for refugees from these stupid ways of thinking. And as they trickle in, we don't have to chase them, we don't have to pursue them. We can create better systems, create better worlds, create better communities, because deep down, these monsters have longings for something better, but they can't locate it. And because they're in psychosis, they're doing all these harmful things to feel powerful, even though they're not. And we have to figure out, those of us who have any kind of consciousness, any kind of mindfulness, any kind of strategic ways of thinking, we need to get better at developing systems that both expand our imaginative capacities, our relational capacities, and our structural integrity, build those systems. And then we have to build systems that are bigger than those of us who are now a part of it. We have to build more room. We have to build a kind of institutional arc, if you will, and be able to leave room for those people, as I've said in previous posts, because if we don't leave room for them and they show up, they will bring the only thing that they have now, which is effed up survival instincts that tell them everything is a threat and that there's not enough. We need to create systems that are built off abundance, built off the awareness that there's more than enough for everyone, built off of the notion that what we do together and when we share, we actually have more because we learn from each other. Like Acts 2, like we have to build these things because that is a hope. I'm not going to say it's the only hope, but it's a hope if we can create better systems. Now, again, do we owe the world anything except for love? I was thinking about this question this morning, and I was dropping my kid off to school, and I saw a bunch of trash on the ground. And I saw the trash, and I said, you know what? Let me just pick this trash up. So I picked it up, and I threw it in the trash can. And it reminded me of a time when I was a kid, and I was with my mother, and we were walking through this park, and there was trash everywhere. And my mom just was like, I hate litter bugs. I hate litter bugs. And then I thought to myself, well, if she hates litter bugs and she hates litter, then maybe we should pick it up. So I started picking the trash up. And then she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm picking up the trash. And she was like, why? I said, well, if you hate litter, just pick it up and throw it in the trash. And then she was like, no, blah, blah, blah. I didn't throw it down there. And I said, yeah, you didn't throw it down there, but it's bothering you that it is there. So if it's bothering you that it is there, do something about it. Like pick it up. Don't just sit there and say you hate litter and you hate litter bugs and not pick up the trash. Because maybe if everyone who hates litter and wants to pick it up, then we won't witness the litter all over the place. And some people will say, well, that's not fair because these people are doing the damage and we've got to do the cleanup. Well, that's stupid. If you're in a boat and someone's trying to put a hole in the boat and then you say, you know what, I'm going to patch the boat because you want us to live. Yes, that person benefits from you patching the boat, but you benefit from you patching the boat as well. You don't just sit there and go, oh, this person put a hole in the boat. I hate holes in the boat. Oh, but I want not the one to put the hole in it. So I'm just going to sit here and let the boat sink. That's dumb as F. And that's what a lot of us tend to do. We say, I'm not the one that caused this, so I'm not going to do anything to fix it. But then we suffer from the problems of the people who caused it. It doesn't make any sense. It's time for us to stop having these transactional mentalities that say that's not my job and dot dot dot. It's if you're here, it's your job. I'll tell you one thing. I was working on this project one time and it was about the environment. And I was calling into poor black, brown, and rural white communities trying to see if they would be interested in engaging in some changes in the legislation that would serve to help the environment in their communities, right? Because there's a lot of like heat deserts and other things that happen in poor communities because of white supremacy and evil. And in one instance, I grew up in a neighborhood where they basically got rid of a bunch of the homes in our neighborhood at the back end, built the interstate through our neighborhood, and then because they built the interstate, there's like hot sun beating on the asphalt type stuff. They created a new warmth in the environment in our neighborhood that wasn't there before when they used to. And then the trees, they got rid of all the trees and stuff. And then the water from the interstate flowed into our neighborhood. So then it was flooding in our neighborhood. And that is white supremacy for real. And um, what ended up happening is we had these like just there was money in the state to try to ameliorate some of the problems that got created, and I was calling into people's homes trying to get them to try to claim some of the money to do improvements, environmental improvements in their community and stuff. And so I called this one lady. She was a black lady from my town in Portsmouth, Virginia, and I said, start telling her the spiel. And then she said, I don't give a damn about this planet. I don't care if it burns. This world hasn't been good to me. And she was like, basically, F this planet. And I said, what about future generations? She said, I don't give a crap about future generations. F them. Nobody cared about my generation before I came into the world. That's terrible. I understand where she was coming from, and it was sad, and I understand it. And at the same time, she's suffering, generations after her suffering, because people are like, I'm not the one that made this mess. And yes, you might not be the one that made this mess, but we still got to live in this mess. And if you hate the mess, then you got to do something about it. Like I make these videos and write all this crap or stuff or things, and some people listen to it, some people read it, like the people here today, Taken, I think I'm saying your name right, and Jane B, who I appreciate you being here. But the amount of effort that I put into making videos and writing and speaking and stuff like that, versus the amount of people that actually engage, is minimal. And I only make this stuff because it's on my soul. And I say, well, maybe one person will feel something today. Like, let's see what Jane said. Jane said, that's what I needed to hear. I get this messaging all the time, being surrounded by the I'm not political, and it's good that you protest, but I wouldn't do that or anything. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people like that. um, I'm glad that this message is landing for you. So, and I'm grateful, and I'm grateful that for whatever reasons, something inside of me says, "Hey, bro, I even if no one listens, you need to get your ass up. You need to say this stuff. You need to write these things for hours and hours." Because I write and read, study psychology, all this stuff, because I'm trying to understand, how did we get like this? Why are we this way? What can we do about it? Because I know the potential that we have. If you knew the stuff, if people knew the stuff that this body has been through, you would be surprised that I'm not dead already. I'm just going to say that, from the stuff that this body has been through. But my mind has, by grace or whatever you want to call it, has been able to, even in the worst states that I've been able to reach for something aspirational and believe that it doesn't have to be this way. I used to feel sorry for my abusers, not because I had what's called, I forget that syndrome, but it wasn't because I had some kind of syndrome or something like that. It's because I knew they were so gone mentally that they could not help themselves but pass on the crap that happened to them. But by grace, I was like, yo, it's gonna end with me. Like, it's not passing me and going to another person. It's like, nope, that's stupid, that's wrong. And I knew from the teachings that says, treat people the way you want to be treated, do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. And for different reasons, I had to go through some kinds of abuses and stuff like that and say, hey, no, whatever this is, no, sir, this is not, I hate this, and I will never put this on anybody else. And if I, to the degree that I can, I'm going to try to articulate. Like, before I got to a point where I could express myself the way I'm expressing myself now, there was a time where I couldn't formulate a sentence about what I was thinking, but I knew in my heart, and I decided to just read and study and effing learn and keep pushing and trying. And I'm not saying everybody can do that, everybody should do that. I'm saying that's what I did. And I used to get freaking massive headaches trying to figure out how to explain what it was that I was feeling in my heart. But I kept pushing at it, just like if you work out at a gym, and now I can express myself. And I know I also live in a world where at any moment I might not be here to express myself. So I give the moment that I'm in, the attention that I have, to be able to share with folks different possibilities, and to name that, even though like I grew up in fundamentalist type Christian to believe in a bunch of stupid stuff, and I know they mean well, but there a lot of people unconsciously teach their own oppression, and they don't know that they do, and they feel like they can't um question it because they're afraid of not belonging in the one safe place they know. I know because I've been through it, but that place isn't safe when it's holding you hostage. You think it's keeping you safe, but it's holding you hostage. So it's like we have to figure out how to do this, and we can do this bit by bit, here a little, there a little, working with each other to create new ways of talking about things, challenging these old systems, loving ourselves. Most importantly, you gotta love yourself, man. You have to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, then you don't have anything. So, all that to say, do we owe the world anything? Probably not, but we're here. Love, I don't even know how to say, what to say about love, because it's been so tainted in our society with romanticism. But the love I'm talking about is the love that persists even in the face of trials and tribulations and being told that you're less than. But there's something that's persistent that says, hey, you are worthy of love, and so is everyone else. Show them. Show them by loving yourself. Show them by expressing yourself. Show them by saying, I'm here, and I'm going to articulate, I'm going to express myself in any form that I can, whether it's art, whether it's money that you donate to things, whether it's writing, whether it's making videos. But it's something that articulates a better world, man. Not this bullshit, not all this tickety tocketies, this like distractions, not all this stuff. Yeah, these tools, they're here. Use them in a way that's redemptive, that helps make the world a better place. Because I can't stand like that there's people out there doing the things that they're doing, harming people, killing people, all sorts of things. And it's being allowed because many of us who are powerful beyond measure, as Marianne Williamson said, don't know that we are. And we just sit there just scared. You're gonna fucking die anyway. Sorry, Uncle Gatabu, I had to say the word. I'm gonna tell y'all something hilarious. Well, no, I'm not, because this is the other woman's business. I'll just say like this: since we are not gonna survive this experience anyway, why not give it all you have? Why not know yourself, love your community, give the fullness of who you are to the moment that you're in, and not continue to live in fear, because god damn it, you are going to die, and I don't mean it in a mean way. Every single one of us is. But are you going to live? So many of us go through this whole experience like freaking zombies, and we watch stuff happen and we don't do anything, we don't say anything, we act like how we do, and there's no excuse for it anymore. It's out there in the open, it's to be seen. I know there's people that are scared of losing their relationships and losing all this other stuff. And it's sad. But there is hope, man. There's a better way. You just got to walk away from what doesn't work. That's what we got to do. Walk away from what doesn't work. Even if it's scary, even if it's little micro steps, we got to walk away from it and go towards something that is more loving, more expansive, more imaginative. We need to be creative. We need to be intentional. We need to take control of our breath and not allow ourselves to be controlled by people who don't want anything from you but your money and your life force, and will leave you on the side of the road dead and not give a crap about you. We need to get past this stupid white supremacy stuff, and which is harming white people more than it harms anybody, because some of them think that they're winning, And so they don't even try. They miss out on life. They hate people for no reason, but they really hate themselves. It's very sad. And I'm telling you, I grew up in the context. I grew up with white supremacists, bro. My stepmom was white. My stepsister was white. I had a white pawpaw. You know what I mean? I lived in Mississippi among the rednecks as a black dude because my dad married into that kind of family. And my dad was an immigrant and he married into that kind of community. So I was around with them with their fishing and hunting and all that other stuff like that. I grew up around that. So I know what the F I'm talking about. And I also grew up in the hood around black people. And I also used to roll with Mexicans, dancing cumbia and all this other stuff like that. And all this stuff. And I also speak Mandarin, because I also was immersed in Chinese culture and worked in Chinese intelligence. I didn't want to say that part, but I worked in the intelligence community surrounded by Chinese folks and studied Mandarin. I know what the F I'm talking about. I've been completely inundated and immersed in multiple cultures in my lifetime. I've been spoken Spanish, I've spoken Chinese, I've spoken Cape Verdean Creole, I've spoken English. I've been immersed in those cultures enough and been in relationships with people deep enough that I've actually been able to get in. Now, I'm not them, obviously, but I've been in their presence in such a depth way that I can feel inside of myself the stuff I'm saying. And I'm not saying it to be like, yo, you should listen to me. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I've been in conversations. I've talked to white supremacists straight up. I talked to a person who was a white supremacist and a Satanist and talked to them face to face about the BS that they think. I've been in China and been so people saying like, "Hey, what part of Africa are you from?" I'm American. They'll say, "Well, you're black," and like assume that I'm from Africa. I've been in spaces that I don't even know. I've been sat with millionaires, like multimillionaires, who just buy houses like they buying something from Target. I've been in all these spaces by some reason, but of the universe that I can't even describe. And a lot of times I'm like, how am I here and why am I here? And I learn whatever it is I got to learn, and then my spaces shift, and I'm coming out and sharing stuff simply because I know that in all of those spaces it's just humans trying to be humans, humans trying to do the best that they can, and many of them feel very insecure, frightened, and afraid because they're haunted by a fake, false illusion of who they're supposed to be that's been impressed upon them by the disease that is effing white supremacy, because it's a freaking brain disease, and it's been effing with people all over the world for a long time, and misogyny, and it needs to stop because no one's benefiting from it and no one ever had. And the romantic notions of the societies we built, which has been built on the backs of other people and the blood of other people, it's it's freaking time. It's time. It's time to face it. It's time to look at it head on. It's time to say it's enough. And it's time to build something better. I'm just a random ass dude that's been living a life, but I've been paying attention to the life I've been living. I don't owe the world anything, but I do love people and I do love the world. And I'm here. And if I'm in a place that needs to be cleaned up, I'm not just going to sit there and complain about it being dirty and not clean anything. I'm going to clean something up. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm encouraging y'all to do. And you don't have to be an expert. I'm just getting up here in front of a video saying stuff. I don't know what I'm about to say. I'm just saying what's on my heart until it's out. And you can do the same thing, or you can support people who do. And don't be afraid that your family or friends who may be idiots uh, might think some thoughts about you. Because if they are thinking thoughts about you, I don't mean this in a mean way. I mean this in an honest way. But let me catch my breath again because I can feel my breath getting stuck. Some people are stupid. Some people are stupid. And when you care what a stupid person thinks, you're being controlled by stupidity. Some of your family are dumb. They are not intelligent. And they will never know what intelligence is if you keep your intelligent mouth shut because you're scared of what a stupid person thinks. I don't mean this in any kind of harmful way. And I know that intelligence is fleeting and conditional. and things happen, and people could be intelligent one day and unintelligent the next day. But if you're intelligent today and you're around people who have no goddamn sense, please stop shrinking up. Because that's one of the things, when I used to be fundamentalist, one of the things I could say about the fundamentalists, they got big mouths and they will say stuff not knowing what the F they're talking about with boldness and fervor and zeal and be dumb as hell. And then intelligent people will know things and will be quiet as a church mouse with all the information in the world, know how to articulate themselves, and won't say anything because they're afraid of getting put down by a dumb person. I'm sorry. I'm saying it today. I still have the evangelical fervor, but now with information. We need to get our ish together for us and for them. Because some of these people who come out here all boldly saying stuff, they're only boldly saying things because they're afraid. It's all fear. And if those of us who want more from the world are also fearful, then we ain't doing shit. So we have to get. I'm sorry, my uncle is gonna watch this and say, "Dang, Pedro's cussing again." I'm sorry, man. I don't want to cuss, but I'm upset. I'm upset, bro, because there's no reason for us to keep doing this. We know the problem. We know the disease, and we know that there's ways to cure it. I'm gonna recommend a book called "Birthing the Symbiotic Age." The author is Richard Flyer, and he's on Substack. His book's pretty huge, like 700 pages. I haven't made it through all of them. I've been picking through it, but it's a really good book to position us in a way to kind of look at ways of dealing with the world in a more cohesive way. And he's done the work and the research. I also want to point to Henri Nouwen's The Wounded Healer, which I may post a video of me talking about The Wounded Healer when I was speaking last couple Sundays ago. But we need to understand the concept of the wounded healer as well, because a lot of us think that we have to be perfect before we can go out here and say something. That is uh, vaca mierda. That's some crap. That's some cow crap. That's not true. We need to get out here and grow and expose our growth in public, borrowing from Jesus, which not saying that everybody's got to be Christian, borrowing from Jesus. When Jesus came back, they say, I don't know if he came back or not, but let's just say he did, and he was resurrected. He was resurrected with wounds. He didn't come back smooth baby skin with some cocoa butter lotion on. He came back with scars and wounds that showed he had been through something. And Thomas was like, yo, I'm not going to believe it till I see the wounds. So that's to say that even in your healing, you're going to have wounds. And it's okay for you to have wounds. It's okay for you to have scars because you've been through crap. Okay? It's okay for you to do that. But when you come back, when you resurrect in your own life, show yourself, expose yourself and your vulnerabilities, because there's a strength in that. It also says in the Bible that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. What that means is that there's a strength that is able to hold you even in your greatest weaknesses. And when you surrender to that strength, it is beyond measurable. And all of us have access to it at any point in time. So, and that's regardless of religion. It's just access to the deeper wellspring of knowledge in the universe when we surrender ourselves to our fullest experience and are honest with ourselves and love people. You know, that's what a lot of religions point to, is because when you love yourself and you love other people, then the power of the universe moves through you in a different way, because you become a channel of possibilities. And that is what the wounded healer is able to do. I'm so grateful that like I said earlier, my body has been through a lot. But because of love, I've been able to allow myself to heal, and I don't have shame. I don't walk around with shame, which is a terrible, terrible disease, because shame tells you that you're just inherently not good. And that is one of the main toxic diseases of white supremacy, is it teaches people to feel shame all the time. And there's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is I did something wrong. Shame is I am inherently wrong. And we have a pandemic of shame in our world that makes us shrink up and hide. I'm here to tell you, you are not inherently wrong. Even these bastards that are doing all these terrible things, they weren't born into the world that way. They got crap happen to them and they never learn how to deal with it. So we need to, those of us who allow ourselves to be wounded healers, we need to continue to give, not to overgive. I can't explain it all. I'm gonna have to write like a 30 or 40, 50 books to explain it all. And I'm probably not gonna be able to pull that off. Catching my breath again. We are worthy of love. The world needs our love. No matter what we've been through, we are greater than the worst thing that we've ever done, and we're greater than the worst thing that's ever happened to us. And when we open ourselves up to be channels of blessing through our experience, and we're able to honestly name what we're witnessing and invite in the possibility by using our imaginations and our ability to connect with other people and the tools that are at our disposal to create better systems and better communities, when we're able to pull that off and be hold an invitational presence, there will be possibilities. When we stop saying I didn't create this mess, but we start cleaning it up and inspiring other people to clean it up as well. When we start holding these weak mother abusers, hold them accountable and move forward. And there's all kinds of ways of holding them accountable. It's withholding money from certain things, it's voting them out, it's telling your family and friends who cannot see that you will not be engaging with them on any substantive level because they are perpetuators of harm and perpetrators as well, and naming it and creating relational consequences for being a shitty person. Then we can start moving forward. A lot of this stuff keeps going on because we keep making excuses for people. I've told some of my friends, bye for life. Unless they come to me and say I was wrong and I made a mistake, I will never talk to them for the rest of my freaking life. And that's cool because I don't want people like that around me or around my family. So, all that to say, do you owe the world anything? No, but you owe yourself something. That's to love yourself and to be cool with who you are and to gift yourself to the world, not because the world may honor who you are or even deserve you, but because you deserve you. You deserve to be able to live your life from a place of awareness, to live this life however long you have, because we don't know how long we have. However long you have, live it fully. Live it with fullness, man. So that's my rant for today. Longer than I intended to be. I don't know how long. They need to put a clock up here so I can see how long I'm going. If you get something out of this, I invite you to share it with other people, and make your own videos or whatever the case may be, your own pieces. And if there's anything I can do to be instructive or be useful and to help, whether it's book recommendations, making videos like this, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm not doing, and it's not that bullshit that a lot of people are out there doing. Because what's the point of it? And I know that as long as I'm here, I have a job to do, which is to start with loving myself and then loving neighbors and God and all other beings, with the same love that I allow myself to receive. And so, thank you, Jane and Seye, maybe, or C Kuyinu. Maybe we'll talk in person or something one day, and we'll be able to. You can correct me on your name. And I believe somebody else was in here. But thanks for all those who are here taking. Thanks for those who are here, those who will be here later. Let's just keep doing this because what we take in is also shaping the world that we're creating. So I know what I'm offering. I appreciate you receiving it. And I hope that you will also give it. And we can just keep this going. All right. Peace.